Yeah, we are live now.
Okay.
Okay. So welcome everyone, and we have with us today Priyan Garg, and we are going to be talking about a very interesting topic of how lawyers or other professionals can be developing their business and how they can be managing their knowledge, because knowledge management is as important for professionals. You need to be keeping on top of the continuously changing legislations, and together with that you need to be on top of developing your business. So we have with us Priyan here is an associate in charge with Karanjawala and company, and he has worked with the likes of LexisNexis, PepsiCo, JSA, etc. And Priyan, during his school days, he also won a shield for a business acumen. So Priyan, we are looking a piece of that acumen here to share with our participants. And before we begin, actually, Priyan, we would like to have a couple of minutes on what exactly it is that you do.
Yeah, hi Komal for introducing myself and hello everyone. As an associate in charge knowledge resource at Kranjawala, I look after the business development and knowledge management of the firm. I'm involved in indirect marketing of the firm by looking after the visibility of the firm. So I assist the managing partner, that is Mr. Ryan Kranjawala, and different partners as the firm as a whole to maintain their presence in the legal market, both domestic and international. Uh, Having worked for 3 years now in the legal marketing profession, I have a sharp view on the marketing of the firm while taking the legal view into account because marketing and knowledge management of firm is not allowed by Bar Council of India Act. So I work with senior management and partners at all levels and look after the knowledge management, business development. I also convert potential clients into permanent clients and even engage the most spectacle clients. So my job profile includes brand development, publications on legal media platforms such as Bar and Bench, Live Law, Legally India. I also look after the visibility of the firm over different platforms, both domestic and international. I also provide strategic consulting, which also includes business plans and marketing strategy. I also prepare white papers for conferences where the managing partner or the partners are going. I also work on strategic collaborations with legal events in the country and represent the firm in them. And I also work on the submissions of legal awards in Indian market and international markets for various awards such as Asia Law, Chamber and Partners, India Business Law General, and Legal 500. Yeah, Komal, that's about what I do at firm.
All right. Thanks a lot for that brief, Priyan. Yeah. So without taking much of the people's time, we'll delve into the topic. But before we actually go into the questions, I would like to inform the participants that if you have any questions for Priyan, you can send those by WhatsApp to me with your name on 9167 125 177. That's 9167 125 177. Please include your name in the questions. So Priyan, when the way we begin is like any business or any project or anything that you begin with, you're
Okay.
always looking to know the target market or the target audience for it. So,
Perfect.
like when you are starting your own practice or when you are looking to generate or expand your business, how would you exactly go about finding your target market?
So see, if I'm an independent lawyer and if I have to find my target market, the biggest tool for me today is LinkedIn. I need to make my presence felt on LinkedIn. I need to be there on LinkedIn very active. Also, I need to be networking outside my office. Networking can be in organizations, or there are a number of organizations which keep organizing a number of book launch events in the city. There are also organizations which keep having panel discussions. So your presence must be felt there in organizations also, institutions also, and on LinkedIn also. If I'm working in civil law, if say for example I'm working for civil law, and if I'm on their LinkedIn and I can see my target potential audience by seeing the other LinkedIn profiles, that where are the people working, how are they working, and everything. So by networking also, by word of mouth also, and through LinkedIn also, that is social media, I can get an idea from the market that what are my potential clients and how do I need to target those areas.
Right. because you will be looking at, depending upon how you are, like if you are a solo lawyer or if you are a small size law firm, you will be looking at, your capacity to handle the clients as well, like
Exactly.
what kind of size or what kind of type of clients you can handle. So
Exactly.
that's like, looking for the target market there. And then once you, let us say, you arrive
Okay.
at your target market, or you find out that, okay, these are the kind of people who are going to be using my services,
Okay.
then what are the mechanisms in which you are going to make them aware that you exist? Because as of the moment, like, they don't even know that you are there. So
Exactly.
how do you go about telling them, or informing them about your existence and expertise?
Exactly. So while I can't advertise myself in newspapers, in print media, or on social media that I engage in such services and I impart such services, which is banned by Bar Council of India, I can always have a website. And on the website, I can always have a disclaimer that this website is only prepared for the function of imparting legal education and not for the advertising purpose. So on a website, I can have all the services listed, that what I'm dealing with and what I expertise in and what my team is all about. Also, how you can reach the potential clients is by blogging. If I talk about blogging per se doesn't mean that I have a blog. I can also have a WordPress account. Say, for example, if my expertise in family law and Supreme Court is coming with a judgment on co-partnership or family law, new amendments keep coming, new laws keep coming. If I can do an analysis of it and if I can publish on a WordPress blog and share it on my social media handles, so by the word of mouth and by people sharing it, my target audience will come to know, okay, this person is engaging in such services, and we can reach out to him. I personally wrote an article on phone tapping in my fourth year of college, which got published by a journal. And when I shared on social media, a number of people who were aggrieved because of phone tapping reached out to me. So it's all about, when are you publishing the right thing at what time. Be aware of Supreme Court judgments, be aware of the High Court judgments, landmark judgments. And if you can draw an analysis about it, if you can give your perception about it, it may be against the judgment, it can be for the judgment. So it's all about the visibility. Then the word of mouth also comes in the picture. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so we always sort of say that, just kind of pointing to legal sections or legal judgments or something doesn't really suffice, because there'll be a lot of people in your target market who mightn't be that well versed with, the jargon and all sorts of things. But if you are sort of putting out an analysis or explanation of it,
Yeah.
and if you are explaining the strategies of what went into that judgment, or what caused that particular thing to happen, then you can always have visibility. So Priyan, what you are saying basically is that first, you find your target market, get connected to them by whatever
Yes.
media
By LinkedIn and by networking.
available. Yeah, and then you sort of put out your expertise,
Exactly.
and share it with them, so that they start becoming aware of your expertise. We were talking about blogging, and I would like to go a little more in detail here about blogging, and just sharing your analysis or something. What are the different ways available? Like, you set up your own personal blog, you go into and publish your articles on someone. What's the best way to go about it, about
So
blogging?
blogging can be personal also. It can be using some already existing general also. So if I talk about personal blogging, I can always make a free account on WordPress. I can always create my own web page. It's very easy on WordPress to make a for a person who is not very active with the jargon of websites also. They can easily make a WordPress account, and they can keep on updating it every day on an everyday basis. They can give the analysis, they can write articles which are not published by other journals, and they can publish updates also, and then keep sharing those links on their LinkedIn also, on their Facebooks also. If I talk about other mediums, every legal media portal such as Bar and Bench, Legally India, Live Law have designated spaces for publishing your articles. So you can be sending your articles to those forums also. Other than that, a number of institutions in India, a number of research institutions in India and colleges keep coming out for call for papers. So if you can research, if you have a research ready with you, if you have been working on a case, and if you can write a new paper altogether, and those are published there, you can again share it with the target audience. So yeah, blogging can be done in many ways, both personal and by using the other journals.
And do you think that it helps to actually win clients or get clients?
It's not about winning the clients. See, at the end of the day, no client is interested to know about the law. What they mean is how much I'm getting and what relief I'm getting. What they mean is business. No client wants to understand the law. Law is for the lawyer to, you know, and a good lawyer is a lawyer who can make his client understand the business and not the law. If you can talk business with your client, that client is yours. So uh, to convince the client also, because we don't know the clients personally, the client will be reaching out to us through a if he has heard about it or if he has read, if he have written something. So if the client feels that okay, this person has drawn, a nice analogy between what the judgment is saying and his analysis and everything, that client will come to you.
Right. Uh, Okay, that was helpful. So another thing that we would want to do is like any person who begins or any law firm is there. Usually they like to benchmark themselves with their seniors. Like they
Okay.
like to try to find out what the senior lawyers or those who actually get
Hmm.
loads of clients or a really good business. How
Okay.
do they go about marketing
Okay.
their areas or their expertise? So, what's the way in which top law firms actually do their marketing or PR activities?
So see, top law firms mainly do their marketing by the form of one is website. They have a very active website which on a daily basis publish articles. They publish blog spots by different partners, by associates, by senior associates. In certain tier one firms, it's compulsory also that every associate has to submit one article every month. They also go so a number of international journals and directories by the name of Asia Law, Chamber and Partners, Legal 500, Indian Business Law Journal also keep asking for submissions for articles also and for awards also. So you have to make submissions. As a business development associate and a knowledge management associate, it's my job profile also that I have to make submissions for all these magazines. The submission includes the entire activity which the firm was engaged in the whole year, be it major deals, be it major wins, be it major legal media publications, and any major update, any major development which is happening in the firm get published by them. And on the basis of them, they rank the firms. So a rank in these reputed journals can't be bought. If your submission is strong, you will come in the tier one. Based on your submission, you come on tier two, tier three, and based on the size of the case, the money involved in the case, and these journals also conduct an independent research with the clients. So you're supposed to give reference list also. So that's how say also one more thing. A lot of tier one firms also make collaborations with a number of events which are happening in the country, be it moot court competitions in the colleges or be it book launch events. They sponsor it. So that's how they make their presence feel
Yeah,
in such events. So in such events, they don't say that we have sponsored it. They become the knowledge partners of that particular event. So
right.
either they send associates from their from the offices to judge the event, or they give internships to the winners. They also sometimes give cash prize from the firm. So it's all about the law firms try to be omnipresent everywhere, be it conferences, be it book launch events, be it power council meetings, or be it moot court competitions, in international publications, in Indian publications by such as Legal Era or Lex Witness. They keep sending out their articles. They keep sending because in India only Legal Era conducts proper awards, if I may say. They only conduct like legal awards which happen in the country. So submissions for Legal Era awards. So it's all about being omnipresent in the circle.
Yeah, that's a very interesting. And while you were saying that, Priyan, something struck my mind. How chartered accountant firms, because like they are also sort of banned from doing that sort of advertisements and all.
Okay.
And you would recall of game shows where KPMG is the auditor or is the process auditor for that particular game show, and that's how they put their name out there on their game shows. Can you actually collaborate with films, like how they put powered by? So can you see like, powered by for some law firm? Like,
In the present times, I don't see law firms partnering up with movies per se, or print media or movie media as such, because BCI guidelines clearly say that you can't go out there and tell that you are partnering with so and so. Yeah, in form of events and everything like legal events, you can be the knowledge partners, you can be the support partners, or you can coin any term for that matter. Also, you can partner up with media houses like NDTV or Times Now. and you can have your own shows where you can have interviews being conducted of the partners, of the senior partners, or you can go on the panels, different panels. But per se, you can't partner with any movie as such. I understand that even ENY used to come out with the Big Boss, for that matter, that they were the official tabulators for Big Boss. But yeah, law firms don't have that kind of leverage to partner with any movie business or for that showbiz. Yeah.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, that day is far off. If more movies like Jolly LB keep coming, so their actors may come to the law firms and ask them to get clicked with all the lawyers, which happened in Kranjawal also. Like Jolly LB, Akshay Kumar came to the firm and got clicked with all of us. So that's a different thing if they are approaching. But yeah, we can't approach the law, the showbiz as such.
Right. Uh, okay, that was interesting. There's one more question which, a lot of people who are starting out as
Okay.
professionals
Okay.
would they have, and that is like, if I want more business,
Okay.
should I be focusing just on anything that comes to my hand? Should
Hmm.
I say, okay, I'm ready to take any business that comes to my hand,
Okay.
or should I be, let's say, focusing on a specific topic? Because lot of youngsters
Hmm.
now would be saying that no, I want to go in this direction, and this is where I want to go. There are a lot of people I've met who are focused in this regard. So how do you recommend it is like, if you want your business to develop, should you just take anything and everything that comes to hand, and at the back side keep on working on your specialized topic, or should you just focus, no, I'm going to accept business or any employment or any kind of training or any research only
Okay.
in this particular area, and this is where I want to go. So
Okay.
what's the best method to go about it?
So see again, you want to be a specialist or you want to be a journalist. Basically, you take all the matters. It all depends from person to person. You know what I'm seeing in the long run. Am I seeing myself working in that particular area only, or can I have a proper law functioning law office where I can all the kind of matters and I can accept all the briefs. So in today's time, when everyone knows that if they are starting as a legal practitioner, a single legal practitioner, one day or after some time they will open up as a firm. So they want to be known as a person, like as a practicing house which can take all kind of matters. So I personally always recommend. So in the present generation, there's also one more problem, that the youth today is running behind money. That's a fact that we all want money. And in litigation, if I'm starting as a solo practitioner and if I'm not getting many of briefs from my known people also, money is a scarcity. Like money will drive you ahead. So what I may say is also that if you're practicing civil law, you can expand to family law, civil law, or criminal law also, but don't go in corporate law, because that's a different ball game altogether. Yeah, and if you have help of your peers, you have the kind of peer group that you can give them briefs and take your own commission and everything. You can take all the matters. There's no bar that you can't do all the kind of matters. You can always take briefs from different offices. You can make yourself available on different platforms. It's all about going beyond your comfort zone. If I'm practicing as a specialist in one kind of law, I become comfortable in that horizon. And law, as we all know, is not monotonous. It keeps changing every day. Like in the last 2 years only, we saw that RERA is coming up, Insolvency Act is coming up, and old laws are being diluted and everything, and new laws are coming. So with time, I have to change myself. I have to progress, because if you see today, in today's date, the number of aspirants who are sitting for CLAT are growing exponentially. Okay, it's not stagnant, it's growing exponentially as a graph. So there needs to be some difference between me and my peer group. The only difference can be if I can go beyond my comfort zone, if I can take everything which is coming my way and deliver it also, like to the client satisfaction. I shouldn't take everything in anything and not deliver. So people who think that they have the bandwidth, they have the team, they have the support staff, they can take all the matters. But if you think that it's not progressing, and by taking everything and anything you are not able to justice to anyone, so I'll tell you to be specialist. Yeah, it depends from person to person basically.
Yeah. Yeah, well, in the initial years, it's a sort of a struggle for your costs as well. So, like, you are sort of looking to make your living costs from your practice when you starting out on your business development. So, like at that time, there is a clear temptation that you are going to be taking up all that comes to your hand, because like you have to make a living out of it. But
Exactly.
like going beyond a little bit, maybe it might make sense to specialize or take on a specific area.
Exactly. Once you start getting the briefs, and when you become a known name in the fraternity, in the bar, in the bar, then you can be a specialist. Yeah.
Right. So that was useful, Priyan. So another question that we have here is like let's assume you did get some clients and you did get quite a few of them.
Okay.
But then what happens is that they are tempted to leave you and go off somewhere else, to some another lawyer or maybe a junior to you who's like providing the same services at maybe at a lower cost. So
Exactly.
how exactly are you going to ensure retention of the clients? How are you going to ensure that your clients stay with you and they just don't move uh, move from you?
Exactly. What I believe is all the public occupations like lawyer, CA, doctor are all people's jobs. Okay. If any client is coming to you, you should accept him like he's your first and your last client. You need to be familiar with everything what is going in their life, like how are they aggrieved and everything. In our profession we become so busy that we forget to send recording letters to our clients. We don't communicate them what the judge said. We
Yes.
just hush them away in our rush to like run away from one court to the other court. And this is where the other smart lawyers come into play. They will simply come to your client. They'll offer him the same job, same relief and everything at a lower cost, which is very easy, which keeps happening in all courts all the time. Poaching is very common in this industry. So if you can provide the basic sense of belonging to your client, if your client can get that, okay, this law is only not only for business, he understands my case, he's there to communicate me everything. In tier 1 firms we have specialist people called corporate communications executives, whose only job is to form a bridge between the lawyers and the clients. They communicate to them what developments are happening at the firm, and what happened to the case, every update. So as a single lawyer, it's very important for you to be very close to your client. You need to know everything. They are like what is happening in the case. You need to update them regularly. Tell them what the next date is. Communicate them 2 days, one day before your case that, okay, your matter is coming up, please come to the court and everything. So there needs to be a feeling of belonging. And today, in today's time, there's a proper subject also, in drafting, pleading, and everything, and Bar Council Act also. You're taught basically that how you can retain clients and everything. Uh, in Amity, I had a subject by the name of client relationship also. So which all talks about what mannerism you should follow with your client, before the case also, after the case also. So that's how you retain the clients. And if you can make your client happy, in India, there's so much happening that this client can recommend you other clients also. Okay, it becomes like a chain. That's how chain becomes, like a chain reaction or something like that. So if you can convince your client to be with you, he's not going anywhere, and he will bring you more clients. So just by not hushing him away due to your work and everything, just try to have a sense of belonging with your client.
Yeah, so basically you sort of make your client feel at home.
Exactly.
And like I would like to add one more thing here is that, usually people will be sharing updates over emails or people will be like, communicating on WhatsApp and all of this kind of
Yeah,
thing.
if
And
you can have a homely relationship with him, you can update him by meeting him or over phone. Like there should not be any return thing. It can be all vocal about it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So if you add a bit of that personal touch, Priyan, which you are talking about, it always works or it always helps because most of the other people are not doing that.
exactly.
Um, another question which I would like to find out from you is how do you get on the kind of lists like Chambers 500 and
Okay.
where people, if you browse the internet and you look for top lawyers in this field, there are always lists that are available. So when people,
Exactly.
especially those clients which are looking for that from out of the country,
Okay.
who are not really aware of the law firms or the top names within the country, when they are looking to establish an office
Hmm.
in India or something, this is what they will look at in the
Exactly.
first thing. They look at the top lists of lawyers in that particular field. So
Exactly.
how exactly do you get in those lists?
Okay. So the established firm is very easy. They get invites from these chamber and partners, Asia Law and Legal 500. For firms who are starting, who are new in this market, and single practitioners are new, need to go on these websites. They need to keep updating it, like they need to keep be like updated with these websites. So there's always a call for submissions, which happens around for the next year. It happens in October, November. So every every publication has a submission date. They have a proper timeline. And it's free, of course. There's no money involved in all the submission and everything. You have to pay money only once your submission is selected. And later on, if you want a plaque, or you want a basically any memento kind of thing for your office. So there's no money involved, but you need to go, because these submissions won't come on any legal media portal in India per se. It won't come on Bar and Bench, it won't come on Live Law, Loctopus, or Legally India as such. So you need to go on all these platforms. You can easily find them on Google: Asia Law, Chamber and Partners, Asia 500, and Indian Business Law Journal. These four are the most prominent legal directories which every top corporate will go to and approach the advocates. So you need to be updated with these, like what activities are happening. Also, these portals are very are full of knowledge, because they keep publishing legal updates what are happening in a different in a particular jurisdiction, because these are worldwide. So they cover Asia Pacific, they'll cover North America, South America, Australia, New Zealand market. So you get a holistic view also what's happening in the world, and this is very easy to understand also. So you need to be updated what's happening on these portals. And they are very clear about, they give a, I mean, like a long range of bandwidth also to send your submission, and it's very easy. The submissions are very easy. They simply talk about basic things, that what your firm is doing, give a brief introduction, write a statement of purpose about your firm, and what are the major deals you have been working in. Also, they will ask for a reference list. So if you can give references of the clients you have represented in the market, in the courts, they will reach out to these clients and ask for testimonials. So you need to go voluntarily on these websites. Also, again, as I mentioned, the importance of LinkedIn in this comes if you're following such pages like Chambers, Asia Law. These people keep updating on their social media portals also, but only on LinkedIn. They won't do it on Facebook. They do it on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. That when is a submission due, for which
Yeah.
jurisdiction, what's opening up when, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was really helpful. One more thing which Priyan, is that in addition to the lists, there
Okay.
are awards. Like
Exactly.
there are awards for law firms, and again, people who sort of end up winning those awards and all, they would be covered by media. Other than they can get on Live Mint, they can get on other websites which people regularly visit, and then that's how their visibility increases. So how do you actually come to know about these awards that are there, and then how do you get into nominate yourself and get
Okay.
to win any of those awards?
So again, as I said, these four publication companies: Asia Law, Chamber and Partners, Legal Fiber, and Indian Business Law Journal. Other than having a publication list, the firms which are listed in the publication automatically are nominated for the awards. There's a sync in both awards and publications. So every portal which is carrying on publication is also carrying out awards for them. Awards. So if you're sending out your submission and nomination for the publication, you need to pay a small amount of money for the physical cost of these awards, and that is it. That's in the international market. In the Indian market, the prominent one is Legal Era Awards, which happen in March every year. And the submission starts in the month of October. And there are different categories of awards. They can be Best Litigation Firm in India, Best Dispute Resolution Firm in India, Best Arbitration Law Firm in India, Best White Collar Crime Law Firm in India. So they are group awards also, and they are individual awards also. So individual awards are such as Best Young Promising Lawyer under the age of 40 years of age, uh, deal making firm of the year, deal making individual of the year. So you need to go through the listings, and if you think that you are fitting in your firm, or you individually are you see yourself nominated, you can nominate yourself. There's a submission form, and there's a fees involved with every submission. And you can submissions are open for all. There's no bar that a single practitioner cannot, like it's not recognized also. Everyone can go and file the submissions, both in the international also, both in the national also. So yeah.
Right. So yeah, but while filing the nominations for these awards and all, you will be competing with the likes of really top law firms and all,
Exactly.
because that's so, like, how do you crack this? Because otherwise you will find always stalwarts getting up and taking those awards. So, like, how do you crack that?
So for cracking that, your statement of purpose needs to be very powerful. So if I may say, no awards are biased awards, legal awards especially. Even if you're sponsoring, and even if you're sponsoring the event, if you're taking the table at the event, because everything has money attached to it. There's no so like for this year also, if we are filing 7 nominations from Kranjawala side for legal era awards, there's no surety that we'll get all the awards, or we'll get 1 award, 2 or 3 awards, and we've paid for it. Like for every submission there's a fees attached to it. So the single practitioners, the practitioners who think they are small in stature or they're small in the deal making thing, they can always see the proper category they think that they are fit for. The statement of purpose needs to be very crisp and clear. There's a word limit attached of 15 or 500 words. They need to write it crisp. They need to highlight the important points which they have been doing. They can also share the vision, that what vision are they, and the mission statement, the vision statement of the firm, that with what thought the firm was started, how the firm has over the years reached that level, what are the strengths, and what difference are they creating in the market. See, the difference, the main point I think in the submission is, what difference are you making to the society, and how your services are better than most of the established law firms.
Yes.
So because it doesn't matter that how much fees are you charging, or how big my office is, how big my library is, if you can get your client relief, that's what matters. Like if you can list it in the top 10 deal making things, that's what matters. Yeah.
Yeah. And a very relevant point there, Priyan, about making a difference to the society. This always ends up, touching people and
True.
creating or drawing them towards you, because if at the end of the day, if you're solving some problem that's there in the society, or that's been there in the society for a long time, you're up for it.
That's true.
So we were talking about small firms contesting against big. So like if you are talking, let's say I'm a very small 2 or 3 person firm. I've started
Okay.
off with at a very small level, and there are 3 people, and they
Okay.
are handling different topics. We don't have anything. We don't have no peons or no office or nothing. We have just 3 people who's started doing business together. So how do you go to win clients in this case? Because like the infrastructure is not up to the mark with the top law firms or even medium sized law firms. It's only 3 people or 2 or 3 people who are there with their intellectual capacity. Then what's the way to go?
If I apply reverse psychology in this case, when I talk about the client, even client has a purse. He can have a high budget purse also, by which he can go to tier 1 firms. He can have a mid-sized firm also, purse also, he goes to tier 2 firms. And he can have a very small purse, very small paying capacity, and he will approach tier 3. So you need to tap on these clients, tap on these clients who don't have the a big purse to spend on, and they haven't been getting relief from the services of the bigger clients. And how do you get such clients is solely by networking. You need to go out there, you need to go out in events, you need to go out in public speaking events, you need to go out in panel discussions, you need to be active in courts. In courts you can find the major clients, in the lines of when you have to get a pass made, you will find the maximum number of clients in that pass line. So if you can make your presence felt in the premises, if people are talking about you, that's very important. And how will people talk about you is when you keep sharing your knowledge on portals like LinkedIn or Facebook. And if you have a blog, that's very important. That's very necessary to have a blog these days. And if you can publish your expertise on those blogs and can keep sharing it. So again, it's all about word of mouth, it's all about networking, it's all about how present you are in that space. And that's how you will tap these people, because these people are not won't be there you know on social media, for that matter, that they'll like your listing, or they'll comment on it that we need services, or they'll drop a message to you, or even you won't have a website also for them to visit, or leave your mail for that matter. So you need to go out to the public domain, you need to attend events, you need to go to court regularly, you need to find for people who are uh, looking out for counsels. So yeah, for people having 2 3 team members, you need to be very active, like socially and networking. You need to do network a lot. So because your peers will come into picture in this case, only they can refer you briefs, and only they can refer you clients as such.
Yeah, so from 3, I'll make it a little bit more tough, Priyan, and go down to a solo lawyer.
Okay.
Now, there are really typical difficulties that a solo lawyer will face,
True.
because like let's assume one of my clients is just calling me for a meeting right now, and it's a business generating meeting, and the other one has something that needs to be done immediately. I'm only one person who's running all the show here. Like I would have to, even if my printer or computer falls off, I'm the only one who's going to get it
Understood.
repaired, or like I would be looking after the infrastructure as well. So
Understood.
like how do you manage things in that? Because like there is time for networking or there is time for business, and which one would you choose? Like it becomes a bit of a difficult choice.
So in this condition, in this situation, you need to be people's people. So based on relationship with the existing client, if your relationships are very good, and if you can convince them, your convincing skills and your people skills need to be excellent in this matter. They've been top notch in this case. If you think that the business you will be getting from a potential client is worth it, worth taking the risk, you can always convince your present client that okay, I'll work on your matter, I'll work on your draft overnight, I'll do it, but right now I have to go like for a potential client or a potential case, or a person is in a bit of trouble or he needs immediate relief. So if you are good with your existing client, if you have been catering to your client excellently well, and you haven't been running after his money but only for problem solving abilities, and even you have undergone sometimes because of the client. So in this matter, what I will say is that it all comes down to your people skill and your relationship with the existing client. Because as a specialist and as a single practitioner who doesn't have much of business and who's looking to make a name, I won't say no to a potential client just because my existing client will have to wait. I can assure him, I can give him the assurance that okay, I'll work on your matter overnight, but for now I need to go to this person because it's a potential client for me also. See, the thing is, you need to be honest with your client, you need to be honest with the existing client. You can't give him a fake reason, you can't tell him anything in ear, or you can't hush him away that okay, because I'm a double money making client right now, I won't address you. We can take a next date in the next tomorrow date, or we can adjourn the matter for that case. I can always assure him by saying that okay, I'll work overnight, and right now there's a person out there who needs immediate help, immediate relief. So yeah, it all comes down to your people skill in the end, and your convincing skills.
Yeah, that's a very good point you made here, Priyan, and that's about honesty. Is
Exactly.
that people, often in today's age, people will doubt that honesty is the best policy, but like, yeah, because there is a relationship of trust here, and
Exactly.
trust is like, a very essential element here. So that's why it pays to be honest. You can tell the client that that I need to go for a potential client, and I will handle your matters. And yeah, that is likely to work if you have been servicing the client well.
Really well.
That was a really good point or a good insight, Priya. So another thing, like we talked about networking. So let's assume that I really have exceptional technical skills,
Okay.
and I put it out there for people to see, people to read, and all.
Okay.
Uh, does it override my networking, or does it override? You already made a point about having personal relationships with clients, but let's assume I have some skills which are really really rare, like
Okay.
which is not easy to find, the technical skill which is really difficult to find. Can I avoid to do away? I mean, afford to do away with the networking on the just on the basis of my technical skill?
See, it all depends on the market segment we have right now. If I talk about metro cities where people know each other, where people keep reading on social media, and where people are really active on those platforms, I'll say in such situations, yeah, you can win over 60-70% clients from your social media itself or from your blog. But in this right now, in the present scenario where lawyers are still conservative in this, if I'm meeting five advocates, four or five advocates still say, no, we would like to go outside. We would like to sit in the bar canteens and meet our clients and win clients from there rather than going on to social media, because I face it on a daily basis. I keep meeting my like advocates in my firm also, and even they have the view, that it doesn't help. Like if you're putting out a blog on social media, you're very active on LinkedIn. What matters is how good you are in networking. So for an advocate, even if he has excellent technical skills, right now he has to understand the reality of the Indian market. Right now Indian market has not evolved that to that extent also that we are digital India for that matter. It may look good on paper that it's a digital India and we are progressing at very good rate, but not every agreed client, not every client who wants a relief, or not every of your peer will be very active on LinkedIn. They'll be very active on Facebook or Twitter for that matter, but not many lawyers take interest in LinkedIn, because for them LinkedIn is something which is about showing off your CV, or it is about showing off your skills. So right now it's a very thin line of difference. What I will say is that, is showing off a good thing or a bad thing? So for people who are not on LinkedIn, the only difference is that we won't like to, showcase our skills on a public forum. We would like to tell one to one or face to face in networking events, or where we keep meeting people. On the other side, the difference would be, no, if we have it, we will showcase it on the big platform. So answering to your question, coming to your question, I'll say that even if I have good technical skills, I won't say that 100% social media and 0% networking. There needs to be a balance of both, depending upon the territorial jurisdiction you're living in. If I'm belonging to a metro city where I know that my target audience, it's very important to know your target audience firstly. If I know that my target audience is reading my content, if I'm having a good feedback also, so having good technicals is something else, and having retention of people who are viewing my blog, who are liking it, who are sharing it, is something else. I may be excellent in my skills, but I may be writing crap over social media, and people may not be reacting to it or sharing it. So it's very important for me to understand it, how many people are viewing. For every LinkedIn and Facebook these days, analytics are a very common thing. You can always click on analytics and you can see that at what period of time people are seeing my post, because in Facebook and LinkedIn everything is paid right now. You can click a promote option and this post will be available to everyone or to a certain segment of people. And if I'm only doing organic marketing for myself, if I'm doing organic post for myself, uh, Facebook or LinkedIn will hide it. So if, for example, if I have 1,000 friends and if I'm doing an unpaid post on Facebook or LinkedIn, it will be only visible to 100 people. It won't be visible to all the people.
Yeah.
So there are times that when we put a very pretty picture of ourselves, or very good looking picture, and we think that I have 1,000 friends, out of which I have talked to 700 people, but why do I only have 50, 60 likes on my photo? So it's not because your photo is not good, it's only because the algorithm which Facebook and LinkedIn follow, your post will not be visible to everyone. You need to pay for it, you need to promote it. So I will say that people who are even good in technical skills, please go out there. There are people waiting out for you who needs to know your perception, who needs to know who you are as a person. And yeah, so networking is equally important as technical skills.
Okay, that was technical versus networking. Another question that comes over many times is a substance over form. So like I have the skills, I have the abilities as a lawyer, I have all the problem solving skills.
Okay.
Why do I need to package myself in something of a swashbuckling personality, or something that looks really smart and cool and all? Like, if I have the substance within me,
Hmm.
does that suffice, or like form is needed, or form can be better than substance, or what would you say to that?
So if I may answer, using examples, what do we idolize right now in the Indian society, in the Indian legal market? Do we go after the likes of Harish Salve, Mukul Rohatgi, and Jetnani? Why? Because the form they argue in, the passion with they argue, their content is same as of other senior advocates. But how many senior advocates we keep hearing on a daily basis? The only difference between these senior advocates who are known in the market and between other advocates, other senior advocates, is that one is that they're firm, the other is their personality. So I won't deny personality altogether. You need to have a pleasing personality. You need to have a good personality. You need to have, like, you should be well dressed every time you're meeting clients. You should be in the presentable form for that matter. Having only legal knowledge won't help you for that matter. Like, it won't entirely help you, I'll say. It can please your client. It can suffice the client's demands and everything. You can win the matter for that client. But if you need to win clients over time, and if you want your clients to be talking about you, because clients these days talk about everything, law they are not very much versed with. How will they say that वकील साहब बहुत बड़े हैं? By saying that वो ऐसे ड्रेसअप होते हैं, वो इस गाड़ी में आते हैं, वो ऐसे घर में रहते हैं. This is the Indian perception of how do you differ between people. how do our domestic help differ between people? They differ by the only say ghar kitna bada hai or how much money do they get. So in present market, I won't say that only legal knowledge will be sufficing. You need to work on your personality. You need to work on the way you argue in the court. And yeah, if the client sees that, okay, even the judge is listening to the, because there are a number of times that you may be having a losing case. Even the advocates, see, advocates can't say no to a winning or a losing case. They need to take every case because they are having business out of every case for that matter. They may lose it, they may win it. At the end of the day, they will build the client. So sometimes what happens is many interns notice in the courts also that judges will always listen to prominent senior advocates, but they won't listen to, or they will adjourn the matter in the same in the first instance, or they will not give the relief also, and they'll close the case in the first instance. So it's all depends on your personality and your pleasing skills. If you can talk with your client with a smiling face, well groomed, perfect clothes and everything, that will leave an everlasting impression, because the clients are not looking for law, as I said. They're looking for business in the end. And in the Indian market, you can always assure business if you imparting those vibes to the client, that okay, you can do it for him with a strong voice and with that personality.
Right. And a very important point there, Priyan, about differing yourself. So if you have something in you which sort of makes people remember or makes them take you home in their memories, something which strikes them, that's what will make them remember. This
Exactly.
is a pet theory of mine. So yeah, there has to be something which makes you different or makes you stand away from the crowd in the room.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
so one more thing here is a lot of people would be thinking about, what are we going to do when the foreign law firms come and, attack our country, and like they are anyway, Indian mentality is attached to anything that is foreign. We sort of rule over everything that's imported from
Exactly.
a long time. So like what is going to happen when these kind of players come into the market, and how are you going to sustain in that case or survive?
So you know how a smart lawyer will view it in the form. Even if foreign law firms come into India, they won't touch a litigation. They can't work on a civil matters. They can't work on a family matters. They can't work on a land matters for that matter. They can't look after criminal matters, because in it is very complicated. There are a number of steps. There are a number of tribunals involved. So what they will be targeting is M&A, corporate, and advisory skills. And even at that level, they will be sending their Indian partners who are working in their firms. They won't be sending foreign partners, or foreign crowd to Indian market. So if you talk about any foreign law firm, for example, like in Sherman Sterling, so Sherman Sterling has a tie-up with Luther and Luther before 1980s. So if you talk about any foreign law firm, they have existing relationships with every law firm. So that doesn't mean that they're sending their people out here, or they'll poach people from the market. Right now, the only point which SILF, that is Society of Indian Law Firms, is making against that foreign law firms start coming to India, they'll poach their clients. They won't poach your clients. They will give advisory skills. So it's very important for a smart lawyer to research out there in the market. Because if I see the legal system of India, 70% are civil and criminal cases. Okay, which will cover your land disputes also, CPC also, criminal also, which happen in courts before, like, below Supreme Court. Like matters will go to tribunals. If I talk about Delhi market, they'll go to Tisazari, Patiala House, Saket Court. You can expect foreign law firms to start coming and working out in this forums, because that's not the bandwidth, and B, it will take them years to understand that how the courts function here. So even if I have practicing advocates as my audience, they must be knowing that to work in tribunals, to work in smaller court, district courts, you need to have good relations with the staff working there, the clerks working there, and everything. So we don't expect foreign law firms to grab the market as such. What we should be optimistic is about that, how can we join those foreign law firms? How can we make ourselves available to those foreign law firms? So I'll say that.
Yeah, that's a good point there, because they would be looking to tie up with people who would actually be able to approach the court. So it actually might mean more business for
Exactly.
the
That's what the point
existing.
of Law Commission of India, Law Ministry, and the government of India is. They're trying to explain BCI and self that these foreign law firms are not going to take over your clients. They're not going to poach your clients. They're not going to poach your staff or poach your, partners and everything. The best they can do is right now is provide you advisory skills. If, for example, today, if there's a company established in India, say was a Bira, and if they have a matter in Singapore, they will be preferring to send an Indian advocate to Singapore rather than a Singapore advocate appearing for them. Same with Apple. If a matter of Apple comes in India, say in competition matter and thing, Apple in US will be thinking that okay, we should send a foreign law firm who can work with an Indian law firm on advisory skills. So people should see as an advisory view, as from an advisory perspective, and not as a poaching perspective.
Right. Okay, that was helpful. That will probably give some assurance to people who are feeling a bit of an attack coming on. Another thing which Priyan, is how are you going to go beyond conventional practices which law firms typically use? Like, so lawyer, people will presume that this is what a lawyer does, and there's a typical understanding or a role in which a lawyer will be fit. So how are you going to go beyond those practices?
So these days, as I said earlier, also that the number of CLAT aspirants are increasing exponentially. So you need to go beyond, and if that's not, for example, me also, I didn't see litigation or corporate as my true calling. I wanted to go beyond it. So there are a number of alternative career options in in the legal world. The first one being legal journalism. So there are a number of legal media websites such as Bar and Bench, Live Law, Legally India, which recruit law graduates as publishing editors, and reporters. In addition to this, even all the leading newspapers or the media houses hire law graduates to work on the legal stories. Because if you see any national daily, if you see every media house also, every day they have a legal news happening. So how is it done? Through legal journalists, which are law graduates. Next being legal editors. So again, all the newspapers and news agencies hire law graduates to work on the legal stories. Two of the leading what do you say, publishing houses, legal publishing houses in India, such as SCC Online or LexisNexis for that matter, even they need people who can work on the scripts which are sent by the authors. So they need legal editors for it. Next being business development and knowledge management, which what I do at Kranjawala. So business development is very desirable. It's a very desirable combination if an individual knows both law and marketing. So such law graduates are hired by law firms or engaged by litigants to carry out the marketing activities and increase the visibility of firm on different platforms. Next is a knowledge management portfolio. So knowledge management is all about creating, sharing, using, and managing the knowledge and information. So a number of law firms regularly submit articles for publishing, and it is a duty of the knowledge management associates to vet these articles. As I said earlier, also all the tier one firms, it's a compulsion for every associate, senior associate, or the senior partners as such to submit one article every month, both for the blog and for other legal media, publications, etc. The next, which is my favorite, basically is headhunting for legal industry. So everyone has heard about Vahura. So how does Vahura function? When you keep hearing about this HR people or the HR, so right now it's very easy to have a law job or to transact from one organization to other organization. It is done through HR agencies, individual consultants, or through organizations like Vahura. So these, law graduates who know the market, who have a basic understanding about the market, and who can understand that what an individual wants from a law firm. And if they have a law firm as a client who's looking for people in that service area, they can do half the work of the law firm by selecting the desirable candidate. So headhunting for legal industry is something which is going to boom in India once the foreign law firms start coming and they need people to work for them. So yeah, the next is the role of a corporate communication executive. So corporate communication executives is forms like a bridge between the client and between the advocates. So if he's a law graduate, he can understand the jargon of legal issues involved in the case, and he can communicate it very well. Also, certain tier one firms have a thing called newsletter. So a newsletter is all about updating, publishing all the legal updates which are happening in the market by taking from different forums, legal updates, landmark judgments which are happening in the month, and what are the updates which are happening in the month. So this newsletter is sent both to internal teams so that they can understand what's happening in the other team, like arbitration team can understand what's happening in the litigation team. And it's also sent to the clients that other than your matter, what else we are doing in different practice areas. Because today the client, which is my client for arbitration, can have an IPR dispute the next day or next time, so that they can come back to me. In the end, I would like to say legal education also. So these days, after pursuing the LLM, they can give the NET exam, that is the National Eligibility Test, and they can go for legal education in law universities, or they can also join coaching institutes like for CLAT and everything. So there are a number of alternative career options in law. If you want to, if you have the the will and the zest to go beyond your comfort zone and do what not others are doing, yeah, there are a number of alternative options.
All right, Priyan, that was really helpful for someone who would be starting out and maybe not wanting to go, the conventional track down. Is there anything that you would like to share with our viewers, just like uh, just completely out of your thoughts? We're about to end the webinar here,
Okay.
but if you would like to do a closing, if I
Okay.
put it that way.
So yeah, if I talk about my experience, from college 2010 to 2015 and today, I follow a very, a four-liner motto in my life, which I myself have curated. So my motto in life is that there's no fun in living a life that you don't feel proud of. A life where you have just passed your time and built in a list of accomplishments behind you. So the learnings you will get in the process will transform you and your thinking process completely. That's what will make you a leader ultimately. The zest to go beyond your comfort zone. If today I'm just working on business development at my firm and I don't do anything else, I'll get comfort in my own space. I know everything, but what beyond it? What beyond 2 years? Like, because the market is changing constantly. So today, if I'm a business development executive associate at Kranjawala, tomorrow I'll think of, because in India everything happens in relation to degree. So I will want to have an MBA degree with me. So yeah, it's all about transforming yourself every day. Keep reading, keep researching what's new happening in the market, keep meeting new people, meet people beyond your what do I say, sector. Go out there, meet engineers, go out there, meet CAs, go out there, meet startup founders. Ask them what's new happening in the market. Study about cryptocurrency. If you keep hearing about cryptocurrency daily, study about cryptocurrency. Study beyond your specialty. Study where you can go out there and poach out in the market. So yeah, my parting thoughts would be like that. Only like that. Please work beyond your comfort zone. Don't be in your own personal space. Go out there, meet people. Don't shy away. Have a pleasing personality, and yeah, that's it.
That was great for a close, Priyan. Yeah. So, like, you sort of retain the curiosity that you have in you, and you act on that curiosity, and you keep on bettering yourself than you were on. But a great motto, a great motto. Thanks a lot, Priyan. That was
Thank
a really interactive and very entertaining, if I might say, webinar as well.
thank you.
We enjoyed thoroughly talking to you. And if you have anyone has any questions for Priyanian, even beyond this webinar, you can send us through the email and we will communicate it to Priyan. Okay, thanks a lot for watching us, everybody, and we will say goodbye here and good night. Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night.